Hello. I'd like to talk a little bit about piousness, outward piousness, and religious appearances leading to false impressions. Have you ever heard the old idiom, do not judge a book by its cover? Well, that's what we're going to talk about today. So, religions come from the beast system. This is the system of the beast here. In this top tier here, the clergy is what we're going to concentrate on today in this lesson. Uh, People seem to want to be in a religion. They think they have to be in some sort of religion in order to prove their piousness, or their commitment to Yahuwah. But the truth is, Yahuwah requires, there's no religion required to worship our Creator. And Yahuwah has no religion. Yahuwah is not coming back to save the Catholics or the Protestants or the Muslims or the Islamic people or the Voodoos or the Hindus. He's not coming back to save any religion. Okay? What he's going to do, he's going to come back to save his chosen people, his elect, those who are in a personal relationship with him. In other words, they have entered into the everlasting covenant with Yahuwah. They have become his chosen people, his treasured possession, his bride. All right? They are his body. They are the building blocks that make up the new city, make up the temple of Yahuwah. Okay, so religion is more of a man-made traditions, man-made, dreamed up corporation, if you will, that they try to mislead people with by saying that you have to enter or join into a circle, some sort, or a church, religious sect, in order to prove that you belong to your Creator. And these sects are controlled by men, of course. Now, there are also doctrines of demons and churches that worship Satan as well. There's churches that think they're worshiping the Creator and are in actuality worshiping Satan. And then there's just churches that just worship idols, fake fables, fairy tales, mythology, deities that aren't even real. And they're bowing down to deities made of wood and stone that can't hear, can't speak, can't walk. Our Creator is one. He's the one living Yahuwah. That's it. And he is to be worshipped as one. Worship Yahuwah. Yahuwah is one. So, why do people do what they do? Why do they wear all these costumes and dress up in different wardrobes and hang talisman and images on their necks and carry staffs and all this stuff to try to make you follow them? They try to have an appearance of piousness, like they have something over you. Like they're holier than thou, so you have to follow them and do what they say. And the truth is, we're all equal. Everybody that's created is equal. The only head that we have is YAHUSHA. Everybody else is the same. And those who want to be first will be last, and the ones that are striving to be or want to be last will be first. Okay, so if you're striving to be ahead of someone in the body, or you think you got it going on, got a closer walk with Yahuwah than somebody else, you may end up finding out that you're going to be the least in the kingdom. So you got to watch out, because a follower of Yahusha is a servant. Okay, we serve, not only do we serve Yahuwah, we serve others as well, which puts us in a lower category than the people we're serving. And in the kingdom, we will be great. We will be first, because we put others before us. See how that's going to work? And so when you do things for people, you do it as a servant, not as a master over them. You know, and a lot of the religious leaders, they try to act like they're the master over people, and they try to rule over people and tell people what to do. You know, this is Sunday, give me your money. This type of thing, you know. And it's not what it's really all about, really. It's all about Yahuwah. But in order to get people to do what they want, they dress the part, and they go get their certificates, they go get their license, they go get their degrees, they go to their seminary schools, and they come out of there with a diploma of sorts, and they put on the proper attire, religious leaders' attire, and they puff themselves up, and they go around acting like they know something you don't know, or they have a connection to Yahuwah that you don't have. And a lot of them will even put themselves in between you and Yahuwah, acting like they're the mediator. Okay, like you got to go through them to reach Yahuwah. You know, that's usurping the position of the Messiah, Yahusha. So anyway, that's what we want to kind of study about here a little bit. And just so you know, if you're in any type of a religion at all, okay, you are in error. Okay, you are following man, or you are following demons, or you're following Satan. If you're in any religious sect or organization at all, because religions are man-made doctrine, or doctrines of demons. They're not nothing Yahuwah did. A lot of this could be like a lot of the problem could be over time, of course, developing over a period of time, subtly, not all at once, but stemming from the old priesthood that we find written in the Torah, talked about in the Torah, the temple, all the furniture in the temple, and the utilities, and the rituals and ordinances, and the law that was placed outside the ark, the blood sacrifices, and the burnt offerings, and the drink offerings, and the high priest running around in his priestly robe, especially the one that he wore during the high Shabbats, and ceremonies and so forth and so on that they did during these animal sacrifices. And then, of course, Moses holding that staff, and the staff of Aaron. So these religious leaders, as part of their attire, they think they have to, a lot of them run around holding staffs. All kinds of stuff. But I think a lot of it maybe reciprocated off of the old priesthood, which the Nazarene all know that the old priesthood was abolished. Um, it's what's really mistaken when people are tell you or false teachers are teaching that the Torah has been abolished. What they're really not understanding is the old priesthood is what was abolished. Okay, none of the Torah, not any of the commands of the Torah, just the old priesthood laws and ordinances pertaining to blood sacrifices, food offering, drink offering, burnt offerings, things like that. All right, now that doesn't include the 7 feasts or the 7 appointed times of Yahuwah. That has nothing to do with the rest of the Torah. Okay, and it definitely doesn't have anything to do with the 10 commandments or the 10 love commands, which I like to call them, or the 10 Debarim. They are definitely intact and are written once you enter into the covenant. He now writes them on your heart and mind. Okay, so and helps you obey them. So anyway, I think that's where a lot of this religious stuff comes from. Other than that, in some of the letters of Paul to some of the different areas of conversion through his travels, he had went there, helped convert some people from Orthodox Judaism, from paganism, and they had formed an assembly where they would meet, usually on Yom Shabbat, and then they would read from the Torah. Is what they would do. Okay, and after Paul left, then he would basically would say, keep meeting like this and learn more, gain more knowledge and wisdom about Yahuwah by reading the Torah. Keep meeting in your assemblies. And then, of course, he would put someone in charge of that assembly, not to rule over the people, but to read out of the Torah. Not everybody could read back then. So somebody had to be in charge of the meeting that could read. So usually it was somebody who was literate and could actually read, and was put over the assembly as Paul ventured off and went somewhere else to try to spread the Besorah. He was going to the Yehudim first and then to the Gentiles. Okay, and usually when he would go to one of the Jewish synagogues, and usually on Yom Shabbat, and he would start teaching them about the Messiah out of the Torah and the prophets in the writings. He would get some converts out of there, but most of them would beat him up and throw him down the stairs or whatever and get rid of him. But he did gain some Jewish converts, and then he would go out into the street corners and into the town squares and so forth and so on, and he would preach the Besorah, or teach the Besorah, I should say, spread the good news to the Gentiles. Okay, and then he would get converts from the Gentiles, as YAHUSHA told him he would, and then he would get all the converts from the Jews and the Gentiles together, and then they would meet, and then he would appoint someone that could read, and then he would tell them to keep doing what they're doing, and he's got to move on, and then they would have their meetings, assemblies every week, whether out underneath a tree or, in someone's house or wherever, uh, they would meet. Now, all there was no circuits, okay, or churches, house of church worship, okay, like Christianity thinks there was. The Most of the houses of worship or meeting places for the Jews were the synagogues. They're just a meeting place, somewhere where they would all meet, to read out the Torah, the Tanakh. As far as the Gentiles go, eventually, when they created Christianity, Catholicism, Universalism, and they blended all the different traditions and religions in the Roman Empire together and then synchronized them into one. What they did was they took over the pagan temples of worship, okay, the shrines and the temples of the pagans, and they converted those into a meeting place for the new founded Christianity, for the Christianos. Okay, and they started calling it Circe because that was the name of a pagan goddess, Circe. Look that up. And anyway, so that developed and grew and became churches, and they were called Christians, and it's what we have today. But so, anyways, it wasn't what Paul was doing. He wasn't starting up churches in all these different places. These were groups of converts that were called assemblies or congregations of people that converted over to into the covenant with Yahuwah. That's what they did. They entered into a covenant with Yahuwah, and they met from time to time in order to read out of the Tanakh so they could learn more about Yahuwah. That's what they were doing. They weren't going to church and ringing the bells, and I mean that all came when Christianity was developed in the 4th century. It was been around the 4th century when that started going on. So maybe a little bit into the 3rd century, but nevertheless, it was several hundred, 200-300 years later. So in Revelations, the 7 assemblies that we read about in Revelations from Yahuchanan was being addressed to those assemblies, okay, in those areas that Paul had ventured to and started up. But like I said, those consisted of converted Jews and Gentiles together, okay, converted over into the covenant of love, or entering into the covenant with Yahuwah, to become his people, his bride, his chosen. So that's what that was about. It wasn't a religion. It wasn't a church. You weren't supposed to have anybody lording over you, okay, and controlling you. Now, although the world is constructed as such, and the big system of control from Satan is constructed that way as well, so is the military, the governments, the religious sects, the media. They're all put together by a military type designation, organization type deal, corporation type deal, where there's a honcho, the head guy, his 2 honchos beneath him, and then on so forth and so on down like a little pyramid to the bottom people, and like they say, the crap runs downhill, and that's just the way the world's designed, and we're programmed to accept that and perform that way under us. Our society structured it that way. and it's found in the religious sections, the governmental or political sections, the media, the workforce, everything. I mean, even, it's just the way it is. Okay. So, but the religious leaders, okay, which is really the elders, okay, are the ones that are more knowledgeable. And I believe somewhere in scripture it says that an elder is someone with the white cap, or, they got white hair and white beards, kind of like me. But they're supposed to be the ones that are more, more have been reading the Torah and Tanakh more or longer, and their age shows that. Now Timothy was a young man, and he was sent to overlook assembly, and Paul had told him, don't let the older guys get to you and tell you that you're too young to be teaching them. He said, just stand firm and teach the Torah. Yeah, teach the Tanakh to them. Just kind of ignore what they're saying. Just stay in the Tanakh, and you can't go wrong. And that's what we got to do. Stay in the Tanakh and we won't go wrong. So, anyway, the leaders, the elders, should be people that are walking the walk. They're not just hearers of the Torah, okay, but they are doers of the Torah. So they hear and they do, so that they're not hypocrites. A hypocrite hears, tells you what to do, but he doesn't do it himself. Once he's out of your sight, he go and party and doing whatever he wants to do. But he'll tell you what you're supposed to be doing and reciting the Torah and everything. And then once you're out of his sight, he's drinking booze and smoking weed and fornicating with the neighbor and, cussing and carrying on, doing whatever. Filthy words out of their mouths, especially when they get around a bunch of friends, people around the hood, man. All of a sudden they change. They're doing what those people are doing because they want to fit in, right? So you can't be doing that, especially if you're an elder. So you got to not be just a hearer. You have to be a doer of the Tanakh to be a leader. That's what a leader does. And yes, a leader is the person that reads from the Tanakh and does the lesson, and then after he's done reading out of the Tanakh, he shouldn't be given his own private interpretations, but he can, as long as it's scripturally based. And he's not going way out on the limb somewhere so he's totally changing the entire Pasora, but he can interpret to help in order to help edify the body or the assembly to understand, especially if they ask him to. Could you elaborate on that for us? We're kind of confused on that. What do you think? And that kind of stuff. But after the lesson, after the reading, then the elders should turn it over to the rest of the assembly and see if anybody has anything to say or any message that they may have gotten from YAHUSHA to share with the rest of the assembly. Because everybody has a voice. It's not just one person getting up there and lording over the assembly, and everybody else is gagged and muzzled and aren't allowed to say nothing, like they're not important, or they don't have an identity, or at least a worthwhile identity. So we don't even want to hear from you. You're a peon. I'm the big chief up on the stage type deal. Think of my three-piece suit and my shiny shoes. The most vile of villains are clean cut and polished. They have to be. They have to be in order to fool everybody. Don't judge a book by the cover. So that's what we're kind of going to talk about here a little bit. Let's get into the scriptures, get some pointers out of there, and see what we can do here. Now, on this video, folks, I've collected quite a few pictures and pictorial in the beginning of this, and at the end, you're going to see a lot of pictorial in this because pictures is better than 1,000 words, right? And so there's a lot of pictures in here from a lot of different religious groups. You're going to see them from the Catholics, from the Islam, from the Voodoos, from the Protestants, Catholics, Hindus, Buddhists, whatever, all kinds of them, okay, Satanists, all kinds of them. You're going to see what their leaders look like. And you're going to see, the funny part of it is the most vile, the ones that that come appear like sheep, but they're really inwardly, they're savage wolves, are the clean cut and polished, good mannered, pleasant appearing people, religious leader types. They're the worst. Okay, they're more hypocritical than any of the others. At least the other ones are showing you that they're part of a religion, and you can almost tell by the attire that they are being parading around in what religious group they belong in. But the wolves in the sheep clothing, treacherous, very, very treacherous. False teachers. You got to be careful of those, especially. Some of them are real clean shaven and polished, no beard, clean haircuts, $10,000 suits on, shiny shoes, beautiful looking teeth, very well spoken, highly educated folks. But inwardly, they are savage wolves. At least the ones that are wearing the religious attire, you can tell who they are and what they represent. See what I'm saying? So it's very well known, and you can Google it yourself, that most of the most vile villains that we have ever had in the history of the earth were very prominent pillars of society, clean cut, polished, well-spoken, highly educated people. In other words, on the outward appearance, man, they looked like they were a friggin' angel. You know what I mean? But inwardly, they were monsters. They tear your head off. So you're sitting there talking to them, they're smiling in your face, looking all shiny and pretty and polished up, right? Having an appearance of piousness, right? And then inwardly, they're thinking about how they'd like to just cut your throat. Okay? So you cannot judge a book by its cover. All right? So, let's get started. And let's go to James chapter 1 and verse 26. Well, actually, let's jump back up to verse 19. 119, James. All right. So then, my beloved brothers, let every man be swift to hear, slow to speak, slow to wrath, for the wrath of man does not work the uprightness of Elohim. Okay. Therefore put away all filthiness and overflow of evil, and receive with meekness the implanted word, which is able to save your lives. What in the world is that? Well, the implanted word that is able to save your life is the Torah into your inward parts, written in there by the Ruach HaKodesh, who enters you, dwells in you, and seals you for the day of redemption. So what's that mean? We've become the temple of Yahuwah. That's what that means. We're now the temple of Yahuwah, if he indeed indwells you. And become doers of the word. See, doers of the word, and not hearers only, deceiving yourselves. Because if anyone is a hearer of the word and not a doer, he is like a man who looks at his natural face in a mirror. For he looks at himself and goes away and immediately forgets what he was like. But he that looked into the perfect Torah, that of freedom, and continue in it, not becoming a hearer that forgets, but a doer of the work, this one shall be blessed in his doing. If anyone among you thinks he is pious, and does not bridle his tongue, but deceives his own heart, this one's piousness is worthless. Clean and undefiled piousness before Yahuwah and Father is this: to visit orphans and widows in their affliction, and to keep oneself unstained from the world. Very powerful, this James 1. Okay, so what this is telling us is how we should behave ourselves, okay, as children of the light. All right, so we should stay unstained from the world. That's huge, okay? And in order to be a child of the light, we need to have the Ruach HaKodesh in us, okay? So we need to have the implanted word in us, the 10 words. We need to enter into the covenant with Yahuwah, okay, through your salvation plan. So let's go over to Matthew, and we'll go to 7:12. It says, therefore, whatever you wish men to do to you, do also to them. For this is the Torah and the prophets. What does that mean? Now that means if you learn to love Yahuwah and others, you've completed the Torah. Love is the completion of the Torah. The Torah, the love commands, okay? The covenant of love that's written on your inward parts, okay? The first 4 teaches us how to love Yahuwah. The last six teaches us how to love others, okay? The first and second greatest command, is a love commands, okay? They command us, the first one, Yahuwah is one, love Yahuwah with all your mind, heart, your being, and strength. And the second one is like it, the second love command is like it, love your neighbor as yourself. These are the 2 great love commands, which if you do those, you complete the Torah, because that's the lesson of the Torah, is love, okay? So truth is the vehicle that takes us to our final destination, our completion, and it's love, L-O-V-E. Enter in through the narrow gate, because the gate is wide and the way is broad that leads to destruction, and there are many who enter in through it. Because the gate is narrow and the way is hard pressed, which leads to life, and there are few who find it. But beware of the false prophets who come to you in sheep's clothing, but inwardly they are savage wolves. So religions are the wide road in the world. The narrow door, or the narrow gate, is YAHUSHA. You know, if you stand there, one person standing there, see how narrow I am compared to all the religious leaders on the planet? So that's how you would see that. So there's Yahusha standing there, one person, narrow gate. Got to find Yahuwah out of all the religious leaders on the planet and on the earth. All of them put together. See how wide that road is? All the religious leaders, okay, in the entire earth, okay, are the wide road. Even atheists, humanists, spiritualists, astrology, all that, okay? Everything you can think of that's religious-wise, okay, is the wide road that leads to destruction. The only, and then so you got, I don't know how many there are. Let's say there's 1 million people, leaders, religious leaders in their attire, okay? Wearing their religious attire. See, just say there's 1 million. There's probably a whole lot more. But you get the idea. 1 million religious leaders and one person, Yahusha. See why he's the narrow gate? There's only one of him. There's millions of the other ones. Which who are you going to follow? One of the million deceivers or the one true living Yahuwah, which is Yahusha. See what I'm saying? Beware of those false prophets who come to you in sheep's clothing, but inwardly they are savage wolves, because they're after your money and they're after your soul. They're working for the father of lies. You know, a lot of them know what they're doing. Don't let them fool you. Some of them are doing it out of ignorance, and they're just followers. They're parroting what they've been brainwashed with. But you better believe there's a lot of those religious leaders that know exactly what they're doing. They know they are worshiping Satan. Okay? They know they're not the narrow way or the narrow gate. Okay? They're usurping Yahusha's position in order to take his esteem, so they gain power, prestige, possessions, position, all that. They're loving that, man. It's what they're after. They're like Satan. They want to put themselves above everybody else. Okay? They want to lead you, be the leader. They want to be the one being worshipped and controlling everybody. They want that power and that position, just like Satan does. Ah, it's crazy, man. But by their fruits you shall know them. Are grapes gathered from thorn bushes, or figs from thistles? So every good tree yields good fruit, but rotten tree yields wicked fruit. And every tree that does not bear good fruit is cut down and thrown into the fire. What fire? The lake of fire, or when the earth burns. The entire surface of the earth is going to burn too, as the reapers collect up the wicked ones for the fire, right? Get them ready for the fire. So then by their fruits you shall know them. Not everyone who says to me, Master, Master, shall enter into the reign of the Shemayim, but he who is doing the desire of my Father in the Shemayim. Many shall say to me in that Yom, what's the desire of the Father in the Shemayim? Obeying the Torah. The Torah is his will for our lives. Love, truth, joy, peace, happiness, gentleness. That's his will for our life. That's the desire of the Father in the Shemayim, that we produce fruits of the Spirit, his fruits. We copy who he is with our actions. See that? Many shall say to me in that Yom, Master, Master, have we not prophesied in your name, and cast out demons in your name, and done many mighty works in your name? These are all the religious leaders. and their followers, okay, who are in the wide road, okay. So they think they're doing all this through their religious ceremonies and rituals and wearing their religious attire, putting on their outward piousness, that they are earning their right into the reign of the kingdom of Yahuwah. See that? That's what they thought they were doing. But then we find out that's not what they were doing, because YAHUSHA says, and then I shall declare to them, I never knew you. Depart from me, you who work lawlessness. What does that mean, you who work lawlessness? Well, the ones that were running around being disobedient, unrighteous, okay, not obeying the Torah. That's lawlessness. Okay, jump over to Mark 7. And he answering said to them, well did YAHUSHA prophesy concerning you hypocrites, as it has been written, these people respect me with their lips, but their heart is far from me. And in vain do they worship me, teaching as teachings the commands of men. Forsaking the command of Elohim, you hold fast the tradition of men. And he said to them, well do you set aside the command of Elohim in order to guard your traditions. Same thing. He's talking to the religious leaders of his time. Okay, and they were puffed up, arrogant. They were running around with their outward piousness. They were appearing to be holier than thou. Everybody bowed down to them, saw them coming and got on the other side of the road because they didn't believe they were even worthy to brush past them, things like that, and here they are telling everybody to hold to the traditions of men, okay, rather than obeying Yahuwah. Okay, look at me, how I'm keeping our traditions of the fathers, and so they were teaching the traditions of men more than they were teaching the teachings of Yahuwah to the people. Okay, and so that he says what he's saying, forsaking the command of Elohim, you hold fast to traditions of man. Okay, so they were getting a lot of esteem, honor, respect. People were looking up to them, bowing down to them probably, doing all kinds of stuff to order to esteem them, because they thought that they could get them, if they just could go through them, and they blessed them that they could go to into the reign of Yahuwah, just because of the piousness of that priest. Okay, and so they had the people, food, what it was, and following them rather than Yahuwah. They failed to realize that they could go straight to Yahuwah themselves, and they didn't need that priest to go through to get to Yahuwah. Okay. So let's take a look at 1 Timothy chapter 3. Trustworthy is the word if a man longs for the possession of, trustworthy is the word if a man longs for the position of an overseer, he desires a good work. So it's okay to be in position of the overseer, okay, the elder. An overseer then should be blameless, the husband of one woman, sober. Sober means you don't drink liquor, you don't get drunk. Sensible, not foolish acting, but sensible, not acting goofy, Orderly, nice and clean and organized. kind to strangers, showing no partiality, able to teach, able to teach, not given to wine, that means not to get drunk on wine, no brawler, no punching anybody in the nose, but gentle, not quarrelsome, not quarrelsome, gentle, not quarrelsome. Don't quarrel with people. Don't point out their because they don't believe something you do or they don't quite have the enlightenment you do. You don't badger them, you know. Don't raise your voice to them. Be gentle, not quarrelsome. And don't be a lover of money. No love of money. One who rules his own house well, having his children in subjection with all reverence. For if a man does not know how to rule his own house, how shall he look after the assembly of Yahuwah? Not a new convert. Not a new convert. In other words, not somebody that's just coming new into it. They shouldn't be allowed to be an overseer, really. They should just be kind of respectful and quiet. Lest he become puffed up with pride and fall into the judgment of the devil. Yeah, because a new convert really hasn't learned enough of spiritual matters and has not probably developed enough maturity to discern between the spirit of darkness or evil or a delusion and the spirit of truth. Okay, because Satan can really trick you, man. So if you're not well versed in Scripture and have the Spirit indwelling you, and you've come into a whole lot of truth, man. You know, it's just Satan can really, really trip you up. And he should even have a good witness from those who are outside, lest he fall into reproach in the snare of the devil. So he should have a good witness from those who are outside. That means people should say, yeah, he's a fair guy, man. He doesn't show partiality at all. He'll help you, man. If you really need help, he'll help you. You know, in other words, they should talk about you like that. In other words, they see that you're not just a hearer of the word, but you're a doer of the word, and they can see that. Likewise, attendants are to be reverent, not double-tongued, not given to much wine, not greedy for filthy gain, holding to the secret of the belief with a clean conscience. See that? Holding to the secret of the belief. Secret of the belief. See that? With a clean conscience. And let these also be proved first, then let them serve. If they are unreprovable, so let them be proved first, and then let them serve. Okay. Wives in the same way, reverent, not false accusers, sober, trustworthy in every way. Let attendants be the husbands of only one woman, ruling children in their own houses well. For those who have served well as attendants gain good standings for themselves and much boldness in the belief that is in Mashiach YAHUSHA. All right. So let's jump down to chapter 4 real quick. It says, but the Ruach distinctly says that in later times some shall fall away from the belief, paying attention to misleading winds and teachings of demons, speaking lies and hypocrisy, having been branded on their own conscience. So these are the ones that are teaching religion. They are following rumors. They are following teachings. They're just in the wind. They grab it, pick it up, and start teaching it like it's truth. There's nothing scripturally based about their teachings. Things like that. And matter of fact, I was just talking to somebody the other day. They told me that they had spoken to a man who had told him some stuff, how he was supposed to believe according to Scripture. And he had got a hold of me and asked me what I thought about that. And I said, well, obviously that's not in Scripture anywhere. I said, that's not true at all. And I said, you can't show. I said, you should have told him. You should have said, fine, show me that where that's written. Show me where it's written in Scripture. And he said, well, I did tell him that. I told him, I said, can you show me where that's at in Scripture? And he said, oh, just go ahead and read the Bible on your own. You'll find it. You'll come to it. Just start reading. Just read the Scripture on your own. You'll come to it. And then he left. And I said, that's because he knew that he couldn't show you where that was because it wasn't in there. Okay. So that's what that's talking about there. Paying attention to misleading winds, and teachings of demons is once saved, always saved. You don't have to obey, you just have to believe. You don't have to be a doer of the word because that's legalism. You're trying to earn your salvation through works. That's all doctrine of demons. Okay. So, let's see. Let's go over to 2 Timothy. And here we read in 2 Timothy 2, verse 19, it says, however, the solid foundation of Yahuwah stands firm, having this seal. Yahuwah knows those who are his. And let everyone who names the name of Mashiach turn away from wickedness. But in a large house there are not only vessels of gold and silver, but also of wood and clay, some to value and some to no value. This is a figure of speech or a parable that's saying that we are vessels. We are vessels in this parable. The humans are the vessels. Okay. If then anyone cleanses himself from these things, he shall be a vessel to value, having been set apart of good use to the master, having been prepared for every good work. And flee from the lust of youth, but pursue righteousness, belief, love, peace, and those calling on the master out of a clean heart. But refuse foolishness and stupid questions, knowing that they breed quarrels. And a servant of the master should not quarrel, but be gentle towards all, able to teach, patient when wronged, in meekness, instructing those who are in opposition, lest someone or somehow Yahuwah gives them repentance to a thorough knowledge of the truth. And they come to their senses out of the snare of the devil, having been taken captive by him to do his desire. But know this, that in the last days hard times shall come, for men shall be lovers of self, lovers of money, boasters, proud, blasphemers, disobedient to parents, thankless, wrongdoers, unloving, unforgiving, slanderers, without self-control, fierce, haters of good, betrayers, reckless, puffed up, lovers of pleasure rather than lovers of Yahuwah, having a form of reverence but denying its power. And turn away from these, for among them are those who creep into households and captivate silly women, loaded down with sins, led away by various lusts, always learning and never able to come to the knowledge of the truth. And as Jochan and Mamre, which were Pharaoh's magicians, opposed Moses, so do these also oppose the truth. Men of corrupt minds, found worthless concerning the belief. But they shall not go on further, for their folly shall be obvious to all, as also that of those men became. But you did closely follow my teaching, the way of life, the purpose, the belief, the patience, the love, the endurance, the persecutions, the sufferings, which came to me at Antioch and at Lystra, what persecutions I bore. Yet out of them all the Master delivered me. And indeed, all those wishing to live reverently in Mashiach Yahusha shall be persecuted. But evil men and imposters, people wearing costumes and attire, okay, looking pious on the outside, but inside they're savage wolves. In other words, they appear to be holier now, pious, religious leaders, okay, but they're not. They're imposters. Okay, evil men and imposters shall go on to the worse, leading astray and being led astray. Imposters can be usurpers too, can't they? Counterfeit. They can be pretending to be the Mashiach. They can be pretending to be the door or the narrow gate in which you have to enter through in order to get into the reign of Yahuwah. Think about that. Watch out now. But you stay in what you have learned and trusted, having known from whom you have learned, and that from a babe you have known the Kodesh writings, which are able to make you wise for deliverance through belief in Mashiach. All writing is breathed by Yahuwah and profitable for teaching, for reproof, for setting straight, for teaching in uprightness, that the man of Yahuwah might be fitted, equipped for every good work. What writings? All writing is breathed by Yahuwah. All writing and profitable for teaching, for reproof, for setting straight, for teaching in uprightness. Well, the only thing he had back then, this is Paul speaking, the only thing he had back then, okay, that he was able to read was the Tanakh. So he was speaking of the Tanakh. I mean, we all should know that, the Bible didn't exist in Paul's time. That compiled list of writings, okay, wasn't canonized and put into print for a long time. I mean, beyond Paul, way past Paul's time. All right. So anyway, that about does it. So look at the pictures, the Pictoria, and the picture show, and see for yourself, the wide road. If they look like they're religious, and they're in a religion of any type, I don't care what the label is. They can label it whatever they want. They're on the wide road. They're usurping Yahusha's position. They're acting like they're the narrow gate, and they're not. Okay, they're not allowed to lord over you either. The body members are all equal. Okay, no one is better than anybody else. We're all the same in the body of Mashiach. We only have one head, one rabbi, one teacher, one judge, one lawgiver, one Messiah, one Torah, one covenant to enter into with Yahuwah. We're all one race called the human race. Okay, There's only one living Yahuwah. Thank you for watching, folks. So long, that's bonus feature time. 2 Timothy 4. In the sight of Yahuwah and the Master Yahusha, who shall judge the living and the dead at his appearing in his reign, I earnestly charge you. Proclaim the word. Be urgent in season, out of season. Correct, warn, appeal, with all patience and teaching. For there shall be a time when they shall not bear sound teaching, but according to their own desires they shall heap up for themselves teachers tickling the ear, and they shall indeed turn their ears away from the truth and be turned aside to myths. What's the truth? The Torah is truth. But you be sober in all things, suffer hardships, do the work of an evangelist, accomplish your service completely. For I am already being poured out, and the time of my departure has arrived. I have fought the good fight. I have finished the race. I have guarded the belief. For the rest, there is laid up for me the crown of righteousness, which the Master, the righteous judge, shall give to me on that day, and not to me only, but also to all those loving his appearing. Okay, so he's warning us to be careful, because in the last days there's going to be teachers, false prophets, false teachers, religious people tickling the ear, and the different circuits, the churches are going to be hiring them to do it. They're paying them to tell us lies. Tell us lies. Okay? Lie to us. We don't want to hear the truth. We're scared of the truth. Lie to us. We like to be lied to, so that way we can go out and do whatever we want to do. We can be lawless and feel good about it. And they hire them and pay them money to teach them falsehood. Sadly, there's a lot of these religious teachers that know what they're doing. I mean, they understand that they're deceiving these people, man. They're choosing to do it to gain power, prestige, money, possessions from the beast, from the devil. They're doing it on purpose, man, because that's what they want. They want material things. They want money. They want to do things and have things in this temporary world we're living in, and they're choosing that over eternal life, because to them it's not real. It's the only thing that's real to them is the literal reality that we're living in this world, controlled by Satan and his demons. And that's what their choice, that's what they're choosing to do. They're choosing death over life. Okay. So be aware that there's teachers out there that sound good, they look good, and they can definitely trick you into thinking that you should follow them. I mean, they're really good at it. And the best ones are the ones that are doing it out of ignorance, really, because they're really selling something that they believe in. They really believe in that falsehood and lawlessness and all the doctrine of demons. A good salesman believes in his product. If he doesn't believe in the product he's selling, he's not going to be a very good salesman, in other words. And then with that said, now there's some real evil characters out there too that are really good actors. Very, really good imposters. So be careful. All right. They are very dangerous. There's not as many of them. Okay. But they're out there and they are very dangerous. So be careful. Be on alert. The key, the rule of thumb is stay away from all religions. If it's a religion, get away from it. Because Yahuwah has no religion. No religion is required to worship your Creator. He only wants you to be in covenant with Him and obey His love commands, just like a good wife would to her husband, who she's deeply in love with. Same thing. It's all He wants from you, really. It's a relationship, a loving, caring, peaceful, calm relationship. Let's go to Revelations 17. Revelation 17. We'll get a good earful here what's going to happen to these false teachers and false prophets and these religious imposters, if you will, and these evil men. Okay. Come, I'm in verse 1 here. Come, I shall show you the judgment of the great whore, sitting on many waters, with whom the sovereigns of the earth committed whoring, and the inhabitants of the earth were made drunk with the wine of her whoring. The wine of her whoring is her doctrine. Okay, that's the dogmas and the doctrine of the religions. Okay, the mayhem of the world, that's many mayhem, that's the nations, the people, the throngs. Okay, and the whore is someone who's worshiping idolatry, men, creation, statues, images, things like that. You're whoring, because to Yahuwah, if you are committing idolatry in any shape, form, sort, whatever, you're being a whore. Okay, that's like you're going whoring on your husband, having an affair with other mighty ones. See what I mean? So they're whores. So anyway, let's continue on. And he carried me away in the Ruach into the wilderness, and I saw an Asha sitting on a scarlet behemoth, or beast, covered with names of blasphemy, having 7 heads and 10 horns. And the Asha was dressed in purple and scarlet, and adorned with gold and precious stones and pearls, holding in her hand a gold cup filled with abominations and the filthiness of her whoring, and upon her forehead a name written, a secret. As you get down here into this picture show, okay, make sure you notice who's dressed in scarlet and purple here. Okay, a lot of them. Written a secret. Babel the Great, the mother of the whores and of the abominations of the earth. And I saw the Asha drunk with the blood of the saints and with the blood of the witnesses of YAHUSHA. And having seen her, I marveled, greatly marveled. Wow, huh? So Babel the Great, the mother of the whores, dressed in scarlet and purple, and of the abominations of the earth. This is all religions. This is all religions and traditions and men's teachings and doctrines of demons. Everything. All them millions and millions of other doors out there. Okay? And the mother here, Babel the Great, of course, and the mother of the whores. Babel, it's the world, basically. Babel's the whole world, really. All the nasty, evil stuff that's in the world. And the mother, the whores, is obviously the mother. Circe Church is the Holy Roman Catholic Church. That's where all the little ones came out of. All the whores are the Protestant churches that come out of the mother of the whores. Um, and the abominations of the earth are all the other religions that are committing idolatry. Anything that they're worshiping, teaching, following, that is anything at all other than Yahuwah is an abomination. Period. Period. Even if they're following just science, it's an abomination, man. It came from a monkey. That's what they tell you. I saw the woman drunk with the blood of the saints and with the blood of the witness of Yahusha. Having been seen her, I marvel, greatly marvel. And the messenger said to me, why did you marvel? Let me explain to you the secret of the woman and of the behemoth she rides, the beast she rides, which has the 7 heads and the 10 horns. The behemoth that you saw was and is not and is about to come up out of the pit of the deep and goes to destruction. And those dwelling on the earth whose names are not written in the scroll of life from the foundation of the world shall marvel when they see the behemoth that was and is not and yet is. Here's the mind having wisdom, the 7 heads and mountains on which the YAHUSHA sits. And there are 7 sovereigns, 5 fallen, and 1 is, and the other has not yet come. And when he comes, he has to remain a little while. And the behemoth that was and is not is himself also the 8th, and is of the 7, and goes to destruction. And the 10 horns which you saw are 10 sovereigns who have not yet received a reign, but receive authority as sovereigns with the behemoth for 1 hour. They have 1 mind, and they shall give their power and authority to the beast. They shall fight with the Lamb, and the Lamb shall overcome them, for he is master of masters and sovereign of sovereigns. And those with him are called and chosen and trustworthy. And he said to me, the mayhem which you saw, where the whore sits, are peoples and throngs and nations and tongues. And the 10 horns which you saw on the behemoth, these shall hate the whore, and lay her waste and naked, and eat her flesh, and burn her with fire. For Yahuwah did give it into their hearts to do his mind, to be of 1 mind, and to give their reign to the beast, until the words of Yahuwah shall be accomplished. And the woman whom you saw is that great city, having sovereignty over the sovereigns of the earth. So there you go. That's all about religions. That's it. Men's teachings, men's religions, men's traditions, doctrines of demons, religion, religion, religion. That's what it is, folks. It's all right up there. It's right here. Okay? See there? The clergy, religions, 4,300 religions on the planet. Okay? Everybody's in some type of religion unless you're walking through the narrow gate, which is YAHUSHA. All the other leaders, the clergy, religions, okay, are on the wide road to destruction. Okay? That's it, right there. That's what that's all about. All right, so thank you for watching again, and remember to stay in love with YAHUSHA. So long, Nazarene, beloved of Yahuwah.
YAHUSHA, living water, Bashem Yahuwah. YAHUSHA, living water. Baruch haba Bashem Yahuwah. I sing out with praise to you. Your name is beautiful to me, my King. I sing out with praise to you. My heart desires to honor you, my Yah. I sing out with praise to you, YAHUSHA. Living Torah, Baruch haba Bashem Yahuwah. YAHUSHA, living Torah, Baruch haba Bashem Yahuwah. I sing out with praise to you. Your name is beautiful to me, my King. I sing out with praise to you. My heart desires to honor you, my Yah. I sing out with praise to you, YAHUSHA. Living Torah, Baruch haba Bashem Yahuwah. Baruch haba Bashem Yahuwah. Yahuwah. YAHUSHA, living water. Baruch haba b'Shem Yahuwah. I sing out with praise to you. Your name is beautiful to me, my King. I sing out with praise to you. My heart desires to honor you, my Yah. I sing out with praise to you, YAHUSHA. Living Torah, Baruch haba b'Shem Yahuwah. YAHUSHA, living Torah, Baruch haba b'Shem Yahuwah. I sing out with praise to you. Your name is beautiful to me, my King. I sing out with praise to you. My heart desires to honor you, my Yah. I sing out with praise to you, YAHUSHA. Living Torah, Baruch haba b'Shem Yahuwah. Baruch haba b'Shem Yahuwah. Baruch haba b'Shem Yahuwah. Baruch haba b'Shem Yahuwah. YAHUSHA, living water, Baruch haba b'Shem Yahuwah. YAHUSHA, living water. Baruch haba b'Shem Yahuwah. I sing out with praise to you. Your name is beautiful to me, my King. I sing out with praise to you. My heart desires to honor you, my Yah. I sing out with praise to you, YAHUSHA. Living Torah, Baruch haba b'Shem Yahuwah. YAHUSHA, living Torah, Baruch haba b'Shem Yahuwah. I sing out with praise to you. Your name is beautiful to me, my King. I sing out with praise to you. My heart desires to honor you, my Yah. I sing out with praise to you, YAHUSHA. Living Torah, Baruch haba b'Shem Yahuwah. Baruch haba b'Shem Yahuwah. Baruch haba b'Shem Yahuwah. Baruch haba b'Shem Yahuwah. YAHUSHA, living water, Baruch haba b'Shem Yahuwah. YAHUSHA, living water, Baruch haba b'Shem Yahuwah. I sing out with praise to you. Your name is beautiful to me, my King. I sing out with praise to you. My heart desires to honor you, my Yah. I sing out with praise to you, YAHUSHA. Living Torah, Baruch haba b'Shem Yahuwah. YAHUSHA, living Torah, Baruch haba b'Shem Yahuwah. I sing out with praise to you. Your name is beautiful to me, my King. I sing out with praise to you. My heart desires to honor you, my Yah. I sing out with praise to you, YAHUSHA. Living Torah, Baruch haba b'Shem Yahuwah. Baruch haba b'Shem Yahuwah. Baruch haba b'Shem Yahuwah. Baruch haba b'Shem Yahuwah. YAHUSHA, living water, Baruch haba b'Shem Yahuwah. Baruch haba b'Hashem Yahuwah. I sing out with praise to you. Your name is beautiful to me, my King. I sing out with praise to you. My heart desires to honor you, my Yah. I sing out with praise to you, YAHUSHA. Living Torah, Baruch haba b'Hashem.